Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the British Tier 10 Premium Heavy Tank, the FV225. Now if you do like the video, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe down below, as it really does help out the channel. And yes, the FV225, we always try and get a second video out on the Ultimate Season Pass tank before the season is out, because this is where we've played it a lot more than we did for the review and got a bit more of an experience with it. And I've thoroughly enjoyed playing this vehicle, to be perfectly honest. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's got a special double barrel mechanic, which is different to the Soviet double barrel mechanic, and that is that you have to have both guns loaded to double barrel, but there is no lockout period for the gun. It just starts loading straight away, which means that you don't lose DPM for double barreling. So you're usually best with this system to just keep double barreling all the time and then switch to single shot when you know you can pick a kill up for one shot as opposed to double barreling. Although sometimes it can be a pain at times to remember to switch between the two modes in the split second decision where you might need to kill something for one shot. But it is what it is. And I have thoroughly enjoyed this vehicle because it's pretty damn good hull down, which is where it wants to be. It's a hull-down warrior. It wants to be on this kind of ridgeline where they can only really shoot at the turret front. You can bounce them off the turret front and then just double-barrel them with what is an absolutely fabulous gun. This gun is absolutely fantastically stabilised. It's an absolute snippety sniper, and it is really, really nice for that. If you set it up for mobility as well, you can go at 49 kilometers now quite easily, which makes you more of a heavium. So you don't really want to go brawling with other heavy tanks. What you want to be doing is getting yourself, using your mobility, the 49 kilometers now, to get yourself to a nice ridgeline where you can go hull down and then start slapping out these double barrel rounds. As like I say, you are actually a very mobile heavy tank. As the hull armour isn't the best. You can side scrape with this hull armour, but it can be a bit of a pain at times. The upper plate, especially the little lip that pokes out on the upper plate, which is where the viewport is, can take shots very, very easily, and especially premium rounds like to go through it. So the hull armour is just not the best on this vehicle, but the turret armour, especially since they fixed the bug with the gun mantler, is pretty damn nice. You do have to be careful, though, of shells going through your turret ring, because the turret ring on this vehicle can sometimes catch shots, just like the Super Conqueror turret ring can, which means it's not an easy shot, but especially premium rounds can find that turret ring, so you do have to be careful. It's not one of those that you sit there, hull down, and just sit in front of tanks and go, ha-ha, you're not going to pen me, because if you do that, they can find the shot. But if you keep yourself wiggling like we are in this game, you'll do alright. So, the FV225, it's got a 49 km/h top speed with the build that I run, which means that with the 13.2 km/h reverse speed, which is very slow, and a 1400 horsepower engine with 16.5 horsepower per ton ratio, you will hit the 49 km/h top speed, and especially when you help the ground resistances, this tank is a pretty damn mobile heavy tank, which is why I say it's a heavium. It's not a true brawling heavy tank. If you go brawling with this vehicle, unless you're in a hull down situation, it will probably struggle, and you'll lose a lot of hit points very, very quickly. But you use the mobility to get to aggressive hull down locations, and play it more like a medium-esque vehicle with that heavy-ish armour on the turret area, you're going to have a pretty damn good time, and that power to weight is nice with the great top speed. The reverse speed, though, at 13.2 is poor and can feel very, very slow when you've got to reverse round a corner or reverse back off a ridgeline. 33 degrees a second on the hull rotation is decent for the tracks. Again, if you wanted to run clutch braking, with the cruise skills, you could definitely drop snapshot and run something like clutch braking instead to make that hull traverse even faster and get it up to about 36 degrees a second. You got 1.74 on soft, 1.09 on medium, and 1.01 on firm, which is not the worst terrain resistances in the universe, and we have helped it to get to that so that they don't hinder our top speed. We've got 499 meters of view range, which is very, very good. It means we can spot for ourselves really, really easily in the FV225, and especially when we take the aggressive ridgeline locations, and especially on maps like maybe Mali or Proc, or even Steppes or Sand River, we should be able to spot people at decent distances. We've got a 38.01 degree a second turret rotation speed, which is faster than the tracks, and that is nice also for the FV225, and it means the turret traverse turns left to the right very, very, very quickly, and faster than the tracks, which is always great. You know how I like that. We've got 0.51 accuracy during rotation, with a 1.69 accuracy during movement, which is fantastic. It means that this aim circle doesn't bloom out much at all, and that is without a gun stabilizer. You do not need the gun stabilizer on this vehicle, because the accuracy during rotation and movement is just that good that it blooms out very little at all. And you've got a 1.66 second aim time as well, which means the little bit it does bloom out, it aims him extremely quickly, and you are ready to go straight away yet again. And because that accuracy during rotation at 0.51 is so good, if you were to drop it, well, drop snapshot, you'd still have a 0.6 accuracy during rotation, which is why I say you could drop the off-road drive, sorry, not the off-road drive, you could drop the snapshot very, very easily to run something like clutch braking, or do what I've ended up doing, which is run Deadeye instead for the memes to increase my chance of doing module damage, and, well, things happen that you'll see maybe in the next game. We've got 8 degrees of gun depression, which means we can be fairly flexible on a ridgeline, but because we're quite a tall tank, sometimes it can be a bit of pain depending on that ridgeline, which you've just seen here. You've got to be very, very careful about the position you do take with it because of how tall you are, but 8 degrees of gun depression is still very nice for the tank, and it means you can be good on a ridgeline. You've got 0.24 accuracy at 100 meters, which is amazing. This gun is amazingly accurate, and it is a fantastic gun to use. Still can derp occasionally, but generally it will hit the target. A 6.34 second reload on this gun, which goes for both guns. Both guns have a 6.34 second reload, so it will take you about 13.08 second reload to get both shells in before you can fire, because remember, this double barrel system, you have to have both shells loaded to be able to actually fire a even single shot. So you have 3.3k DPM, which is on the low end of DPMs for tier 10s, but for a tank that has about 700 alpha, that's actually not bad DPM at all, because what you've got to think of for this vehicle for the DPM-wise is the fact that you have a 700 alpha gun, because you're going to be double barreling most of the time with 350 alpha. That's 700 damage if both shells go in. So, yeah, that DPM's more equated to the double 700 alpha, I should say, realistically. You've got 272 penetration on the standard APDS rounds. I was about to say APCR, it's APDS rounds, with 330 penetration on the heat rounds and 55mm penetration on the HE. Now, the APDS rounds work exactly the same as APCR, for anyone who's about to say, well, what's the difference? They're really exactly the same. Mechanically, they're just different names. And that 272mm of penetration on the standard APDS round is absolutely amazing. It means that this thing doesn't struggle to pen things whatsoever. It is great. And 330 heat pen means you butcher everything else too that you might struggle to pen with the 272. You've got 1440 meters a second shell velocity on the standard APDS rounds, which again is absolutely fantastic. And it means that you don't have to give too much lead at distance to be able to hit your targets. And it's one of the other reasons why these guns generally feel absolutely amazing to use. The gun handling on this tank is superb. Absolutely superb. 900 meters a second shell velocity on the heat rounds, though. Do be careful of that. You do have to give a wee bit more lead to be able to hit your shots at distance with the heat rounds, but the APDS rounds are fantastic, so yeah. And as it is a tier 10 premium, it doesn't get any bonuses. And as you've just seen in this first game, yeah, we made a mistake there as we drove out sideways on in front of the Waffle Panzer IV on Sword Beach, but we did finish with the 6k damage, the 2.5k assist, the high caliber, the first class, for 1525 base XP. A really nice game there for the FV225 on Sword Beach. And the Sword Beach visuals make this tank look absolutely amazing, by the way, with the rain-soaked tank. I love the visuals that Sword Beach gives off with the rain and everything like that. It does look amazing. It's just like Live Oak's rain on, you know, the old weather effects that didn't affect the gameplay whatsoever, just the aesthetic of the map. It's always lovely to have that. But what do I run in terms of a crew and equipment anyway on this vehicle? Well, I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Track Mechanics, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun, the Off-Road Driving, the Advanced Loader, Optics, and the Traction System. Traction System to get the 49km/h top speed, Optics to be able to get the 499 meters of view range so I can spot myself really easily, and the Advanced Loader to get the best DPM I can out of this vehicle, which is an unusual thing, by the way, that this tank gets the Advanced Loader, because it's a double barrel, so it's a bit odd that it gets that, but it does, so which makes the reload better, which is always great. All three gun perks make this gun as good as possible, because we're not going to run the gun stabilizer, but like I say, you could drop Snapshot on, oh no, Mr. T, oh boy! Good night, Mr. E6. That is an Armour there, 2.1k damage straight off the rip, and that's what happens when two shells hit your Armour. But I digress. Yes, I've dropped Snapshot. This is what I'd probably recommend for most people, but I've dropped Snapshot to run Deadeye for those memes right there, increasing the chance of doing module damage by 6%. I mean, two shells hit an Armour, likelihood is it's going to detonate, and that's what happens to the E6. The off-road driving to make the ground resistances better on this vehicle so that I can get to my top speed fairly easily as well. But like I say, you could drop the snapshot on this vehicle pretty easily to be able to run something like clutch braking to make your track traverse better, run Deadeye for the memes. You know, there's plenty of different perks you could take instead of that, because having 0.6 accuracy during rotation is still fantastic, as is having 0.51 accuracy during rotation with snapshot, you know? So it is what it is. But there's plenty of ways to set up a vehicle. It's always down to you and how you want to play the tank. So as we've started this game, we're nearly 2 minutes in and we're already up to 4,075 damage. And as you've seen from the first game and this game, we are just a pure double barrel machine. And unfortunately, we're not hitting all the double barrels. As you can see, you have to hit both shells to do the 700 alpha, because it is 2 separate projectiles that you're firing out of this gun. But yeah, it means that you're not always going to hit both doubles. You're going to quite often do 350, but if you get the chance to do those 700 alpha shots, and especially when you hit a double shot into an ammo rack like that poor E6 and you can make the turret go flying, oh yeah, you're going to be doing it. So we're keeping our eye on this Technodrome, because that Technodrome is being a royal pain, and we need him gone, because I can't go and deal with what's on my right if I've got a Technodrome on the left, because he's just going to keep farming shots into us, and I don't want to take hits from that guy. But he's taken some significant hits from me, and so is being very, very careful. So with that, I'm going to take the opportunity to go get some shots into the guys on the right, and accuracy of the gun. Accuracy of the gun on that double barrel shot on the E75. Right there. We did 600 odd alpha, or 600 odd damage, I should say, to that E75 through his drive wheel. We had a pixel of his drive wheel, and we just hit it anyway. This gun is beautiful. It really is. It's a beautiful gun. It's one of the reasons why I love this vehicle, because the 700, the pure double barreling is beautiful. You don't have to think about the penetration too much. By the way, should have single shotted that, but mistakes happen. But yeah, the penetration is fantastic. I don't have to worry about the penetration. Most of the time firing this APCR, the velocity is beautiful. The accuracy at 0.24 is amazing. The aim time's great. The fact that I don't have to run a gun stabilizer is also lovely. The fact that the traction system getting us up to 49 kilometers an hour at top speed, and we will hit that, means the mobility on this vehicle is also really nice. And having that really nice turret armor as well means that I just generally really enjoy this vehicle, and it's just a pretty solid enjoyment to go running around in. So pixel shot yet again on the Type 4 Heavy's rear. We gave up going after the guy like the IS-4 behind that rock, because that IS-4 is in a great position. And with the Technodrome still on the left and being exceptionally careful, there was just no point staying there. We're just going to stagnate. So I decided to come back round, see if I could get shots at the tanks in the middle at F8. And we could get the shot from that position into the Type 4 Heavy, which we got. And now we can go after the IS-4. But in doing that, we found an E75. And at that angle, I thought I would pen both shells into that E75. But we did track damage only, and that's because the angle was just tight enough for only the shots to go, you know what, I'm just going to blow the tracks off. And we're trying to find an awkward shot now into the C75 because he's just angled enough. And as we fire at the lower plate there, we actually hit the upper plate because he slid down the ridge. So we got a bit lucky there that we ended up avoiding the double barrel into him in painful times. We can't find the shot there into the 75 as it crosses, and as I say, if you're thinking, why is he not firing? He's got one shell loaded. Again, British double barrel system is different to the Soviet double barrel system. You have to have both shells loaded to even fire a single shot, let alone a double, which is why you're always better to just double barrel unless you can finish off a single shot, and that's the kind of flexibility that's actually quite nice for the FV225, in the fact that you're hitting for 700 consistently, but then if something's got about 30 HP left, like Mr. Technodrome, I can switch to a single shot, blap, and it'll only take me 6 seconds to then reload, to then be able to go back to firing 700s into Mr. E75, like that. And we're up to 7.2k damage. Now, I ignored the Technodrome to come after this E75 and Waffle Panzer IV, but I was always keeping my eye on the map because I saw the medium tank closing down on the Technodrome. And as soon as I saw the Technodrome move, I knew he'd be in a position where I could finish him off. And so I got rid of him so that I could go after those two guys without any fear of being shot in the rear. Now the E75 and the Waffle Panzer IV are gone, we can go after Mr. IS-4, double barrels loaded. He's looking towards the TD in the medium tank. Oh, this is going to be juicy. This is the kind of position that you'll sit there going, yes, this is where we want to be. So we put a big double barrel, 716 damage into the IS-4, and this is where the reload is really nice, because we've hit him for 700 alpha, but it's not taken long at all to get both doubles in, And we hit him for 689. The Waffle Panzer 4 finishes him off. And we finished the game with a really great total there for the FV225, which is a tank that I've thoroughly enjoyed playing, to be fair, and I think it's a pretty solid heavy tank. Finished with the 5 kills, 8.9k damage, nearly the ace tank at the high caliber, with the 1910 base XP. Great game for the FV225, which, like I said, I've thought is a pretty solid heavy tank at tier 10. And it's a pretty nice tank to pick up for the technically 4,000 gold from the Ultimate Pass. You might be going, well, it costs 6k, but yeah, but you get 2k gold back from the Season Pass, so technically 4k gold for a tier 10 premium. Really ain't too bad. And it's a pretty damn solid one at that. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success.